this is Wargamer Shawn, and here for part 4 of the Genestealer Cults Codex review. We're going to jump into it and do the fast attack section first. So, fast attack section consists of mainly vehicles, mainly Imperial Guard or Astra Military vehicles. The Chimera is 1 at 65 points, and it's Ballistic Skill 3. Front armor 12, side and rear armor 10, 3 hull points, transport vehicle, and has multi-laser heavy bolter, searchlight, smoke launchers, transport capacity of 12, 2 miles can fire from the top hatch. A Chimera has an access point in the rear. A Chimera treats all water features as open terrain when it moves. Chimera has 2 arrays of 3 las guns. With the exception of Genestealers, up to 6 embarked models, up to 3 per array, may fire 1 las gun each from these arrays, provided they are not also firing using the firing point. Use the Chimera's ballistic skill for these shots. The arrays can shoot at ballistic skill regardless of how far the Chimera moved. And if the Chimera has suffered a crew stun or crew shaken, the arrays can only make snapfire shots. Each array can shoot a different target to the Chimera's other weaponry, though all las guns in the same array must shoot the same target. So, it's the same thing as the Astra Militaris array, which is, it's nice. I mean, you've got basically 2 sets of 3 las guns that can shoot at different targets, and they can shoot a full ballistic skill no matter if they move 12 or not, which is nice. I probably would, I mean, you can replace the heavy bolter with a heavy flamer for free. You can replace the multi-laser with a heavy flamer or heavy bolter for free. And you can equip it with items from the vehicle list. I'd probably just keep it simple. I like the multi-laser and the heavy bolter. I could see instances where you might want the flamers on there. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but the true strength with Chimeras is their front armor, which is 12 versus the side and rear 10. So most of the time I would expect you'd want to keep it, a decent amount away. So yeah, that's a Chimera. The next one is Armored Sentinels for 40 points. And their weapon skill was skill 3. Strength 5, front armor 12, side armor 10, rear armor 10. Initiative 3, 1 attack and 2 hull points. They have a multi-laser, and you can take 2 additional ones for 40 points each. They can replace the multi-laser with a heavy flamer for free, autocannon for 5 points, missile launcher for 5 points, las cannon for 10 points, plasma cannon for 10 points. They can take searchlight, smoke launchers, 100 killer missiles. The searchlight's 1 point, smoke launchers 5, and 100 killer missiles 10. I think, keeping, this is a chance for the Genestealer Cult to have some firepower that can be long range. I think either the multi-laser or the autocannon, or the missile launcher or las cannon, or even the plasma cannon are good choices. Plasma cannon, getting hot with only 2 hull points is a little dangerous, but I like the Armor Sentinels, and I probably see myself using them more for the Genestealer Cults, depending on if I want some firepower to bring. The other fast attack is the Scout Sentinel, which is 35 points, so 5 points cheaper. Has weapon skill 3, strength 5, initiative 3, attacks 1, and 2 hull points, but its front, side, and rear armor is only 10, so it's weaker all around, and it comes with a multi-laser. But this one has scout and move through cover, so it can outflank if you want to. This one I may be more consider putting the heavy flamer on it, just because if I'm outflanking I may want to use that to flame something. It can get an autocannon missile launcher for 5 points, las cannon for 10, and then the smoke launcher, searchlights, 100 killer missiles, the same points as for the Armored Sentinel. The main reason I see taking this is to outflank or scout move, but I would try to keep it cheap just because it's armor 10, it's probably going to die fairly easily and only 2 hull points. But I do think it has its uses, although I mean, it depends. It's nice because you can come out of reserve and fire a heavy weapon, so outflanking, which is nice. But other troops, you know, that you can get in this army may provide, you know, what you need with the ability to kind of pop up anywhere. You know, may do a better job than the Scout Sentinels do. So I may be less inclined to take them versus Armor Sentinels, but that's my opinion. I mean, I think they can have their use, and I think you could argue for using them, you know, in the army. The next one is the Goliath truck. The truck hasn't quite come out yet. I think it comes out this weekend or the next weekend after, but it's a multi-kit. You can make this one or another one that's in the heavy support. This is 50 points. It has a heavy stubber and twin-linked autocannon. Strength, ballistic skill is 3. Front armor is 11. Side and rear armor is 10. 3 hull points. It's an open-top vehicle transport. It can carry 10 models. It cannot carry pure strain Genestealers or a Patriarch. So you can't put the Genestealers in there or the Patriarch. But you can take 10 models. With it being an open top, it has its pluses because then you can use it to, you know, get out and charge in the same turn. For 50 points and the Chimera is 65, you're saving 15 points, and you've basically got a armor 11 front. Now the drawback to this is armor open topped is it can be flamered, it can be, you know, it can be affected by templates, so guys inside can get hurt. You can take demolition charges for 20 points. I think that's kind of expensive, but you can each turn throw out a demolition charge. But there's a risk that you could blow up or hurt yourself too. When it suffers a crew stun or crew shaken or immobilized result on a 4+, you ignore it, but it still loses a hull point, and that's pretty good. I think, you know, I probably will end up building one of these just because I think it has its uses for some of the close combat, even the troops. But just keep in mind, open transport has its pros and its cons. I wish it was fast, but I mean, I see why in the fluff. They're mining vehicles, so they're not meant to be fast, but that would help it a little bit. So yeah, that's the last of the fast attack. We're going to go into the heavy support, and there's only 2. The Goliath Rock Grinders, which is the other one you can build with that kit, with the truck, the Goliath, the Goliath truck. This one's 75 points. It's ballistic skill 3, front armor 12, side armor 10, rear armor 10, 3 hull points. It's a tank and transport, so that's important as it is a tank. So with ramming and stuff like that, that does help because like the Chimera is not a tank. It is a transport, but it has a transport capacity of 6 models. Up to 6 models can fire from its rear platform. The vehicle's rear platform is 1 large access point. So it's not an open-topped vehicle. It specifically isn't, but it does allow all 6 people that are in it to shoot from the rear hatch, basically, which is pretty good. It has a heavy stubber and a mining laser, which is a 24-inch range, strength 9 AP2 gun, and it has a drill dozer blade. Now the drill dozer blade, is automatically passes dangerous terrain checks. If it rams an enemy, any models that are under it suffer D6 to the strength. It adds D6 strength to the hit of the ram. If the ram causes a penetrating hit, add 1 to the result on the vehicle damage table. When this vehicle tank shocks, any enemy that the vehicle model reaches must take an initiative test before taking a morale test. If the initiative test is passed, the unit moves and avoids the whirling cutters. If it's failed, it suffers D3 strength 10 AP2 hits. If enemy takes a death or glory attack on the vehicle and fails to stop the vehicle, the unit suffers an additional D3 strength 10 AP2 hits, in addition to the damage they normally suffer from the failed attack. Hits from the drill dozer blade are randomly allocated. that's pretty good. And strength 10 AP2 is nothing to sneeze at, so it's not bad. Yeah. You can take up to 2 additional rock grinders for 75 points a model, so you can have a squadron of them. You can't do that with the truck. Any Goliath rock grinder may equipped with cash demolition charges for 20 points. I don't know if that one's worth it. I mean, because there's a risk of explosion with it. Any rock grinder may replace this mining laser with a clearance incinerator or heavy seismic cannon. Seismic cannon is like 0 to 12 and then 12 to 24 inch, and that's 10 points. The clearance incinerator is 5 points. Honestly, if they'd let me replace the heavy stubber, I'd probably do it in a heartbeat, or maybe not a heartbeat, but I think about it. I like the heavy mining laser, so I probably honestly wouldn't lose that. To be honest, I think it's pretty good. So I kind of like it as it is. I definitely see myself building one of these. Now, the next one is kind of the piece de resistance that the Genestealer Cult has access to. They can get a Leman Russ squadron for 120 points. Ballistic skill 3, front armor 14, side armor 13, rear armor 10, and 3 hull points. It's tank and it's a heavy. It has a heavy bolter, searchlight, smoke launchers, and eradicator Nova launcher. It can get an exterminator cannon for 10 points, a vanquisher battle cannon for 15 points, or a battle cannon for 30 points. You can replace the heavy bolter with a heavy flamer for free, a las cannon for 10 points, and any model may take a pair of side sponsons. Heavy flamers are 10 points, heavy bolters are 20, multi-meltas are 20, and plasma cannons are 30. And then you can take cult vehicle equipment list. So these Leman Russes are not, you don't have all the options like you do with the Astra Militarum, which I think is fine. Honestly, until GW changes the rules for ordnance, weapons, making everything else snapfire, even on a heavy vehicle tank like this, I am not a big fan of the battle cannon. For 30 points especially, strength 8 AP, I think it's 3. Honestly, I would probably do the Vanquisher battle cannon for 15 points, and then potentially even put the multi-melta on for 20 points, and las cannon in front. So that would still be, say, 20, 30, 50. So it'd be 165 points kitted out. And you can take up to 2 additional Leman Russes, so I might run those guys. I mean, that would really punch a hole through most armor if you wanted it for that. Otherwise, you could keep it cheap. But they're certainly a good tank, and it's also something good that you could potentially start on the board that's going to be hard to kill unless they can get on your backs. But you can kind of position yourself where your butt's right up against the edge of the table, and no one's going to get access to it. So that is the fast attack and heavy support choices. Next video, we'll do a review of some of the formations and do final thoughts. So we're kind of coming to a close on the Genestealer Cults. I'm excited. I kind of like what they've done with it. I think, like I said, it's a playable, and they've done stuff to try to keep it playable, but it's certainly not a broken army or the next big thing, to be honest. But I'll have fun playing with it. And I'm excited that GW brought this army back to 40k. Until next time, take care and keep on wargaming, guys.
Goodbye, you sexy motherfucker.